Hi, my name is Prince Credell, and I dance with Ballet in Geneve. The first company that I joined was Ailey 2, and I was maybe 18, and I danced there for a year. And then after that, I joined Alonzo King's Lines Ballet, and I danced there for about 4 years. But during that time, I also guested with Complexions. Was there anything else? Yeah, that was it, Alonzo and Complexions. And Spectrum also. I was there for maybe a month. And then after that period, I went to Hubbard Street down in Chicago for a little over a year and a half. And then I sort of had a period of nothingness and for about 8 or 9 months, and then I moved to Geneve, to Switzerland. Going from Ailey to Alonzo was a big difference because it was a second company, and you know, like being at Ailey, it was that sort of institution, and they had their own sort of choreographers that they liked, and the difference going to Alonzo was it's just Alonzo's work, and so that was much more personal, and then from there, I guess the jump to Hubbard Street was kind of huge. I mean, Alonzo's company was just 12 dancers, and so I mean, not that 20 dancers is a lot, but to make the jump for a dancer is kind of shocking in the beginning, and also, yeah, to join a rep company is really sort of shocking in the beginning. I mean, in companies in general, there's always the time factor that, you know, we have to do this much and this is how much time we have to do that. But with a rep company, I feel like that dynamic is even more sort of in your face, because now you're dealing with different people on top of the time factor. I feel like working with Alonzo, it was that you know, being in that environment was, we were sort of pushed to sort of discover our own and make it work for us. Whereas for a lot of choreographers, like for instance Kylian, it is much more pure and about, you know, just standing there and not, I don't want to say just standing there because it's about more than that, but it's definitely not about you doing it. It's much more calm and much more, I see it as dry. It's much more, you're there and you're the picture, and you don't have to do so much. You have to relax. I personally like to have the freedom, but it sort of contradicts because I do like Kylian, and for me now I feel like I'm finding the freedom within that, and I feel like a lot of people with that sort of choreographer, they think, oh God, it's so set, it's so, you know, I know that it needs to be this way, but I'm finding that there is still freedom in being able to do something and be quiet with your energy, or the stillness of your energy and the strength in that, instead of just the movement quality all the time. I feel just the confidence. I feel from Alonzo, I took the confidence of sort of trusting yourself on stage, in a way that you're the one that's making the decisions, and you know, it's something that that you have to be very present to do, because it's very open and it can be very different each time. And so from him, I think that I sort of learned how to really be present with my dancing, because it was sort of like, okay, well, I don't know how I'm gonna do it, or maybe it's not gonna work out. Whereas when you really have guidelines, I feel mentally it becomes, okay, this is it, this is what I have to do. And for me with Alonzo, it was I mean, there's always that aspect, but it was more about a focus in terms of being present and making it real, and for me. Good music. Um, I guess artistic things. Good music, good dance.
Like what?
Ooh.
When was the last time you went to a show or saw something on the street or went to an art gallery? Or when was the last time that you felt like super excited and inspired about life and about
That's difficult. Being here at Dance Salad for me is really inspiring. You know, like to be around, and I hate to make it about dance, but to be around so many different kinds of dancers and see so many different, to see a dance salad, I guess. It's like, to me that's inspiring, especially, I mean, everyone's coming from all over the world, and you know, people are speaking different languages, and they have, it's so many different energies in addition to what we're here for, which is the dancing. And to me, that's super inspiring. I mean, it's difficult living abroad for anyone who's ever had to leave their home. I think that's a given. Specifics? Yeah, I mean, aside from the general things, the language and you know, the humor, or as someone who's living in a different country, you're really, it's natural for you to really feel different than everyone else that's around you, in a completely different way that you don't feel. What do I mean to say? For instance, I mean, I guess that anyone can argue that they feel different anywhere they are, even when they're home. You know, I mean, when I was living in America, of course I felt, oh, I'm different. But living in Europe, it's like, I'm different. I'm really different. So, and maybe that's a bit more personal, but I think that that's just something that you're constantly, I mean, it's something that you can't really avoid. You know, you have to make the effort to speak, or else you're not gonna get groceries. It's always a work in progress, I think. I mean, even with just learning a language, it's like, you begin to feel like, okay, I think I have it, and then, you know, and then a conversation goes in a different direction, and it's like, ooh, okay, I don't understand that. And I mean, that's just the language part, but for me, the whole experience has been like that. I mean, for me, it wasn't just about the dancing. I mean, I've always wanted to live abroad. I mean, I remember, but even before I came to Alonzo, I tried to, I was living in San Francisco, going to San Francisco Ballet, but I actually ended up going there only because I didn't get to stay in Stuttgart. Like, I really wanted to go to Stuttgart Ballet, and I was there to the school, and I was there for maybe, I don't know, 6 weeks, and it just didn't work out. So even at 17, like, that was always what I knew I wanted to do at some point, and so that's the real reason. I mean, I could go on about, you know, choreographers, and I mean, for me, that's a plus, and that's a great experience, to be able to work with European choreographers from Europe. But it wasn't that for me. The system in Europe is different. I feel like, I mean, I'm not even talking about money and budgets, but I feel like there is a certain amount of money and creativity that goes into work. And I'm not saying that that's not the case in America, but in a lot of ways, I feel like in America, it's more about product and more about, I feel like it's more about the end product and getting a piece going, and not necessarily about the creative aspect, which sounds really terrible to say, but that's just been my experience. Whereas, for instance, just with what we're doing, it's like we've had, I would say at least, we were creating a piece for maybe 4 months, and I've really never experienced that dancing in the States. Maximum, it's been, I mean, even maximum, it's been 8 weeks. So, and you know, not to say that you can't do a wonderful piece in 8 weeks, but, and another way I see it is that I feel in Europe, in general, it's more about the overall picture, the costume and the decor, the set, you know, how the whole picture looks. It's not just about the dancing or the movement quality. I guess, to keep it simple, in a lot of ways I feel that it's much more theatrical. You know, if you see a dance performance, it's not just really only dance. But that's just my experience. I mean, I think dancers in general are always sort of, in one way or another, obsessed with perfection. And I don't mean like being perfect and that sort of way, but just, you know, giving their all. And for me lately, what I've been learning about myself is just, I mean, I think you trick yourself into not being self-conscious, but for me, I really feel not self-conscious at the moment, and that's sort of, I feel like I've got that from watching other dancers who maybe just in my mind don't seem conscious about what they're doing. They're just doing it or going for it. But I feel my approach hasn't always been from that place. And so at the moment, yeah, just with anything I do, even if it's set or if it's not set or improvising, or I really try and think about not being self-conscious, or because that's sort of when I hold back and I sort of stick to what I think or what I know works for me. I think that it's much more interesting to see something that's that looks really spontaneous, and it really looks like, okay, this thing is happening to this person and they're experiencing it and they're dealing with it, and that makes it more real.